Hello, everyone. My name is Hayden Danielson, and I'm the Senior Onboarding Coach here at Tovuti. In this walkthrough, we'll be reviewing the user importer and how to successfully import your users in bulk. Let's check it out. Utilizing the user importer is helpful for administrators who are migrating from another LMS or otherwise have a detailed list of users. Instead of having to add each user individually into the platform, an administrator can create a new import template to upload thousands of users at the same time. For teaching purposes, I will now act as a Tovuti administrator. To manage my platform efficiently, I need to understand how to set up a user import template. I would like to invite all of my imported users to the platform and automate some of their profile details, such as what user groups they will be a part of and the demographic fields associated with their account. Let's talk about the steps necessary to successfully import your users onto the platform. First, head to the People tab and click on the User Importer feature. To create a new template, click on the bright green New button. Next, we're going to give this template a title and an optional description. For testing purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and call this our test import. You will have some additional options to choose from, such as changing the username setup, creating new passwords for existing users, deciding on the password setup, and forcing password resets when a user logs in for the first time. As we continue to scroll down, the standard fields allow you to input the core information needed to create a new account on Tovuti. At bare minimum, you will need to input each user's first and last name, username, and preferred email. You can also include the user ID and password fields if they need to be inputted manually. The user ID field may need to be included on your user import template if you are updating users. The user IDs can either be copied and pasted one by one manually, or can be copied and pasted in bulk by downloading users 500 at a time from the user manager, located up here at the top of the People tab. The custom user fields allow you to input additional demographic information for each user. There are a handful of default fields that Tovuti pre-populates in this area, but you can also create or modify fields by going to the User Profile Fields tab, located here on the left-hand side below the User Manager. You can automatically add new users to user groups by selecting Yes to include user groups on the template. From there, you can click on the groups that you want to include on your template. At minimum, you will need to include the registered user group for all new templates. In addition, I'm going to select the marketing department and site administrator groups for examples. Finally, you have two toggles at the bottom of the options that will allow you to backlog certain information, such as course completion data and awards that users may have earned prior to being invited to the Tovuti platform. This completes the template setup. Depending on when you want to send out the welcome emails to your imported users, you can build your welcome email in the Email Settings tab. You can then select Yes to send emails and format your welcome emails. It's recommended that the upload and sending of welcome information all happens at the same time. Although you can upload users without sending their welcome emails right away, you will need to add the user ID fields and attach the same user groups that the users were a part of a second time to then send out their welcome emails sometime in the future if you need to separate the two events, the importing of your list and sending out the welcome information. Essentially, the list would need to be uploaded again with that user ID field enabled. Once we have all this configured, we can go ahead and save and close our template. Once saved, You can then download your CSV template. A CSV file is simply the file type that the user importer accepts when we're ready to upload our users. So let's go ahead and do that. When the template is downloaded, you can either open it up in Excel or another spreadsheet software. In this example, I will be using Google Sheets. And once this is open, we can open that up and bring this in. Once open, you can then fill out your spreadsheet. I will insert some information for a couple of fake users and also attach them to a couple of user groups. So let's go ahead and make that happen. First thing, I'm going to expand my column so it's a little bit easier to read. And I'm going to put in Jane and John Doe. Or I guess in this case, Joe Doe. Once we have their key information inputted, we can then attach each user to the appropriate user groups. In order to attach a user to a user group, I will need to place a capital X or Y in the corresponding cell. I can also use a lowercase x or y, and we'll mark a couple of those off. For example, if I want Joe to be a part of all three of these user groups, I'll put in a capital X for all of them. All of your users will have a capital X or Y in the registered column by default. And you can set that up and you can copy that formatting all the way down for all of your users. In this case, let's say Jane Doe only needs to be a part of the registered group. I can go ahead and fill that out. The system will then recognize which of these cells have been filled out with a capital X or Y, and if something is left blank, that just simply means the user will not be a part of that group. Now that we have our template filled out, we can save the file. Remember, the user importer will only accept CSV files, so double check and ensure that the spreadsheet is saved or downloaded as a CSV file. We can then return to our administrator options and click on Import User CSV. From there, select the file and hit Start Import. You should receive a successful import message shortly after. Or, in some cases, you may already have a user within the system, and you may get a message just like this letting you know that something may need to be corrected on your import template. You can also save a log to keep track of what was imported and the actions that took place during the import. Once you have your users imported, you can then head to the user manager to ensure that your users were imported correctly and see if there are any small changes that may need to be made. In this case, since Jane Doe was already here, nothing was changed, and Jane was a part of the groups from a previous import. Joe Doe is brand new, and we can see that he was successfully added to 3 groups here. Importing groups of users can save administrators a ton of time when creating accounts on their platform. Automating this process also eliminates the need to go back into individual accounts to manually adjust permissions or demographics. Thank you all so much for taking the time to understand the user importer in Tovuti. We hope that this information is helpful as you continue to build out your unique, one of a kind platform. We'll see you all next time.